We have people. I love that we have people.
Other
You put this together and then you think, oh boy, I hope people show up. So the first thing I want to give everybody a chance to do is to kind of just quickly say who you are and of course who you're with and then what your role is, and you can list more than one if you'd like, just so we all have a sense of each other and what our thoughts and backgrounds and responsibilities are. So if everyone wants to unmute at this point, I'll call on you and we'll just go down the line that I see right now. So let me see if I can go to gallery view. That's better. So Stephanie, tell us about yourself.
I sing with Coeur d'Alene Chorus, and I'm the lead section leader, but also a bigger role is the visual leader, artistic director, right in there. Been doing that off and on for like 20 years, but still need to learn a lot.
Nice, very nice. Sue?
I'm Sue Middleton, and I sing with Jet Cities Chorus. I am the membership chairman at the moment, but also part of the visual team, and I'm in the front row, so I work a lot with the current visual coordinator.
Great. Carrie.
I answer to both. It's not
okay.
Go by Carrie. Okay. I'm a member of Coeur d'Alene Chorus and Spirit of Spokane choruses. I've been on the front row of SOS Chorus and am currently on the front row of Coeur d'Alene. And I'm here mostly just to kind of learn about visual communications. It's something I've been interested in, and so yeah, I'm just kind of here to hear what you have to say.
Great. Well, you make quite the visual impact with your fall hearth back behind you there. That's quite impressive.
It's all fake. I wish.
How about Susie?
Hi, I'm not sure. Can you hear me with this?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. I'm Susie Davis. I'm from the Inland Harmony Chorus in Moscow, Idaho. I've been singing with the group for just a year, and I was elected to the management team in May as the performance lead. So it's a switch. We switch from board of directors to management team, and so this is a new position, and I'm just a year old in the Sweet Adeline's chorus. So this is all new. I successfully put on our first show last weekend. So I'm just wanting to learn.
Wow. Hats off to Susie, everyone. My goodness. You've got that beginner's ignorance where you just jump on it in and you don't worry about anything. You just get it done. I love it.
Yes, exactly. So
and then Christy.
I am co-bass section leader with Alaska Sound Celebration. I'm also on, we still call it showmanship team, even though it's visual communication. I'm in charge of scheduling coaches and not scheduling them, but getting them here, making sure everything's taken care of when they're here. I have also been the events chair. I've been the marketing chair. I don't know. I wear many hats. I'm the tech person for the chorus as well. And I'm also the bass in Rewind Quartet.
Woohoo!
So
yeah. And somehow you have a full life beyond that.
Yes, I work full time as well. What? I don't know how I get it done, but I do.
And then we had Ruth Ann join. So Ruth Ann, do you want to unmute and tell us where you're from and what your responsibilities are with your group?
Hi, Katy. It's Ruth Ann from Voices Northwest.
Hi. I just can't see your face.
I know. Hold on. Let me see. It's not going to be good.
No judgment.
Okay, there you are.
But I know.
You know me. Yeah. So part of visual visual communications team. Really hard to get past a great director and visual person like Charlene to like grow. So I want to learn everything I can.
Well, good. Well, tonight is going to be the first part of tonight is going to be very content rich, and the slides are going to be a little dense. So I can always email them out as well. And then the second is going to be a little more with a little more air and space to try some things out together. So I will now do my first amazing trick by sharing my screen, which is always a little bit this one. Okay. Oops. I didn't share screen. Sorry. Back to my taskbar.
It never
Back
does
to where I
what you want.
was. Okay. And now I'm going to pick what I want and hit share. There we go. Now, can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. That's up to you, right? If how you see the screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I am Katy Hawley, visual communication leader for the entire region. Fell into that just because Shelley was nice enough to ask. Artistic director for Song of Seattle Chorus, and then lead in Primetime Quartet. So an open division chorus, and then a lead in a quartet that just went to international and get to go back next year. So yay. That's very happy with that. Now I can't see all of you all, so I would love to be able to see you as we do this. But maybe I was told I couldn't. So I'm just going to sort of breeze through this and stop every now and then, stop sharing and look at your faces again to make sure you're catching what we're doing.
Katie, are
How's
you
that
on
sound?
2 screens or 1?
I only have one screen.
Yeah, it's harder when you only have 1 screen, so.
Yeah, I was told it created a gray box when I tried to do it, so I'm not going to. So our class focus is going to be on mindset and knowledge, and talking about both of those things, because I think when you express to your choruses a bunch of one but not the other, they're not getting the whole package, and it's not going to sink in as much, and they're not going to know why they're being told to do what they're being told to do. If you want to progress, the sinking in of the knowledge comes with an open mindset. And I'm just going to look at this and read it. It sounds obvious, but think about the times that you've had a goal, like I want to be in better physical health. So that means I have to get out and work out more. But then you come up with excuses for why you don't have time. So you don't apply the knowledge of needing to go work out because you don't have the mindset for it. If you're a gardener and you want to make your garden better, and you say, okay, I'm going to plant all this stuff and it's going to be beautiful because I like beautiful things in my backyard and my front yard. You have to have the knowledge of when to water, when to weed, how often to fertilize. And if you don't then combine some mindset with that of, I really want to do this, so I'm going to get myself out there and regularly water and weed and fertilize. If you just ignore that part, then you don't get the eventual, result that you want. What you get is some lucky results, right? And we want to try to avoid lucky results, and we want to have purposeful success, right? So that's kind of the goal for our teaching in visual communication with our choruses. The first thing we're going to cover is just applying some knowledge. the judging category description booklet, or the JCDB, is in the Sweet Adeline International website account, and you have a login. If you are a member of Sweet Adeline's, you have a login, and your login will take you to member resources. And then you can find the judging category book, which is very dense, very, very big. I don't think you'd ever actually print it out, but it has a section on each category. And so the visual communication section is one that you really should get to know, because it defines so clearly all the different, and really kind of eloquently, all the different elements of our category, visual communication. I love the changes that they've made, the enhancements, the updates from a number of years ago. And I think it does marry up better with a theatrical, authentic performance. So after you've gone off, and I'm purposely not giving you a link or a place to go find it, because I use the international website better now that I've had to hunt and peck myself around it. So you can go find Sweet Adelines and you can figure out what your login is and then explore, right? And I think you'll have a better retention of where things are and what there is. So I'll let you go ahead and find that on your own. But when you review your score sheets after a performance, and you've, taken the time to go ahead and kind of get over the whole excitement of performance, and you're home and you're either by yourself or with your team, there are a few things I think to think about. Here's the top of the score sheet. All of those are the elements: vocal skills, energy, characterization, physical expression, and so on. Those are all defined with a paragraph or two in that judging category booklet. So, and again, I'm going to show you one of them and to show you how well written it is. It's kind of cool. This is the bottom half, right? Where you actually would see the notes from the judge and try to divine the underlying meaning of what they're saying. And I talked to Peggy Graham on the way home, ran from International. She was one of the judges. And I said, your comments are always so helpful. She says, I mean it. I really want to be able to say more than I can. So everything I say is really important, because you can kind of look between the lines and take a look at where they're trying to get you to. Words like engage or build, or what are some of the other words? You're emerging. Things happen at times. All of those things are a door to the next level. And when you see those kinds of comments, you want to go back in and realize what was the sentence around those. So learn to look for those kinds of words so that you can then, highlight up what you've gleaned, right, from the score sheet. Now we'll go on here and take a look at some recurring words. As you look at your score sheet, look at what is similar concept within that one score sheet, and then look at the other categories and see if that concept pops up again. Those same kinds of words, those same kinds of suggestions, and highlight those. I would take two highlighters, two different colors, and do this is what I've accomplished, and this is what we need to work on. And just keep looking for those comments and make a map out of your score sheets. I think it's easy to put those away and maybe not do that quite so methodically. but just define, decide what categories need more. Maybe it's not your category. Maybe it's a different category for that year. So how can you support the success of that category? If visual communication was the highest, well, then you got to bring the other ones up as well. So find what's going to be your foundation to your success, talk with your director, talk with the other leaders, and see what you might put together as a group. This next one is kind of interesting. Let me stop share for just a second. Any comments or questions, or yeah, we already do that?
We do
Nope.
that.
Thumbs up. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
we review score sheets a lot. Always refer back to
Good.
it when you're working on new concepts. Like, this is what it said. Both in the
Right. Because then you
course
can
and
also
working.
say, well, yeah, that's your roadmap, and you don't have to sit around and decide with each other, well, what should we do? And what's more important? And, how are we going to put these things all together? Because your score sheet really kind of, if you really mapped it out and marked it up, will tell you. And then you won't have to just come up with, well, as a visual communication person, what do we do next? Right. So I will continue to share and show you this next one.
I have a question for you though, because you made a comment
Uh-huh.
about, you made a comment early on about how you like the changes that have been made to the category and how, the theatrical part is highlighted more now. I don't know if it's a question or a comment. We actually got a comment on our score sheet this year that said we needed to be careful not to be melodramatic. And I thought that was interesting that we were showing that expression and we were being asked to like not be as dramatic. Like,
Right.
how do you find that? Like, where do you find that line at? Because just telling someone don't be as melodramatic, then you have to decide, okay, so what was it that we did that they felt was melodramatic?
Right. That could be an inauthenticity. Maybe the movement or the energy didn't ride with the story, or maybe it was too much energy for the moment of the story. Or if it's repetitive movement, like, hands going and going. I don't have a memory right off the top of my head of your performance, although it was really great. But, I think if you maybe look at the performance with the sound off and see what you think the chorus is saying, and even if you can, do it in a fast forward type speed, if you have that functionality to fast forward with the sound off, then you see idiosyncrasies that pop up, distractions, you see repetitiveness in the visual that you can say, okay, there's too much of that going on. And you don't see it when you're listening to the music. So if you can bring it down to sound off viewing, that will help. And it's probably just an authentic thing, an authenticity that they wanted. And we're going to be talking a lot about that too, is how to actually build individual authenticity into your program. You can also ask the judge who wrote it,
True. That was actually
and write them.
A quartet comment, not a chorus one, but it made me think about that comment. As soon as you talked about the theatrics of it, I was like, that's interesting. Okay, those are great.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So let me see if I can get back to where I was here, right here. Share. And next. This is the fun level descriptor on the performance level guidelines, A through D. And this is for visual communication category. As you, if you've looked at a packet of score sheets, you have seen this in your score sheet packet. And the way to make it a little bit more understandable is to highlight some of the same words again that you see in these levels. And if you start at the C level, you see things like consistency or inconsistency. There's really a desire at the C level for more consistency. So you see things like, unity lacking, stage presence inconsistent, characterization, lack of consistency, things like that. And then you're also seeing, attempts at audience connection. But if you look at the far right, C- at the bottom of the grade, it's no attempt at audience connection, right? So you can watch those things build. Then as you go into the B level, now you're seeing audience connection is beginning, and it's good but inconsistent. And finally at B plus, you get a consistent level of audience connection. So again, if you can take a look at your scores and highlight the box that your score for visual communication was in, you can really see where you are and then what the next levels request. Visual unity. Now we're starting to see at B plus level musicality is emerging. And then up in A minus, it says, again, musicality is in every one of the A levels. It just grows, a basic A, visual artistry and musicality is evident most of the time. And then of course, in A plus, you've completely transcended technique and you have it all the time. Complete mastery, exceptional mastery, high level of proficiency. Those are the kinds of things that you see in an A level, as opposed to in the B level, those skills are strong, they're generally good, things like that. So you want to make sure that you kind of really own where you are and say, yeah, we are connecting with the audience, and we really did get some visual unity plus scores this time, and just really let it sink in who you are now and in the moment, so that that's your platform and you can move from there. Because I think if you don't own and be proud of who you are now, it's harder, I think, to try and improve, because that's where the scary stuff happens, right? That's kind of where, oh boy, am I confident enough to try to improve? So that's just a thought, as you're going forward, you'll just feel better if you really own the level you are now. Here is the musicality descriptor in the judging book under visual communications. And I just think it's so well written, and all of them are this well written, that it's worth reading out loud. Authentic visual communication is an integral part of the musical performance. Musicality is achieved when the intent of the music is brought to life by the performance choices and the musical delivery. The essence of true musicality is the performer's ability to use emotional experiences and genuine theatrical abilities to perform in a way that pulls the audience into a magical experience. And some of those words I love, magical and bringing to life, pulling the audience in. I mean, isn't that what we really want to do? Don't we really just want to be magical and pull the audience in? So if you're studying any of these elements because you got needs help here kind of comment on your score sheet, really dive into these paragraphs and really think about what it will feel like to be able to master that, and what it would take to take you from where you are now to a higher level of mastery. Now, this is where it gets a little bit dense. And these are more level descriptors and more elements of the visual communication category. And they all require a little bit of thought, right? And a little bit of actual attention. Again, if you're really good at one of these from your score sheets, then go for it. Embrace it. Say, yeah, we do that. But if not, read it and think, okay, we need some more education, some more knowledge about some of these other things. So, like vocal skills, it contributes to the musical outcome. They're integral, and you can't be scored higher than your vocal skills. So you actually need to always, always, always keep that in mind. Maybe not all of you know, maybe you do all know, the sound score is the tiebreaker when people have the same scores overall. So we'll go down the list. Unity, visual aspects must be performed in a unified fashion. It does not require that everybody is a clone of one another. So unity becomes something a little different. And we're going to look at that when we study stagecraft tomorrow, of kinds of unity that you can put out there that are different, but create the same level of unity. Audience, that's the connection. And I love this, a circular phenomenon. The performer creates a mood, the audience responds to the mood, and the performer senses it and responds back. And it's very, very much give and take. And you're in charge for starting the whole thing as a performer. Visual plan, stagecraft. This includes choreography, staging, costume, hair, makeup, props, and non-singing moments. That is a really, really large part of the chapter on visual communication in the book. Every one of those words has paragraphs underneath them of how to create your visual plan according to all of those different things, which is why we're going to do a class on stagecraft. So we can really sort of sink in to the thoughts on creating your mood, creating audience expectations so they can relax and enjoy and not wonder, what are they doing? When am I going to get the message? Because we've all sat in an audience and wondered that, right? When am I going to understand what they're trying to do? Right. And so you want to put the audience at ease. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Stage presence, the more comfortable the performer is, the better they are able to infuse themselves into the storytelling. There are ways to become more comfortable. And we'll talk about that in another class tomorrow. See, I'm selling myself for y'all coming back tomorrow. Characterization. It involves defining the storyline and the journey for the song and creating a dramatic persona or role for the stage, but not melodramatic, Christy. Just dramatic. And then energy, the unseen element that transports the performance from the stage to the audience. So all of those are snippets of the entire half page on each of these elements. So this is a taste, but you can tell by the words in here that we're really now being asked to do more than just stand there, look alike, do some moves, and sing great. There's more of a magic sauce that the visual communication category is asking us to put into the performance. So I get really excited about it because I think it is a little lesser known on how to do that at times. It's a newer category. And I think we can build some confidence about how to get our singers who come once a week and stand there tired and distracted and just wanting to have some fun, how you can move them forward. Because I think that's probably a goal. Are there questions about any of that was on all of that slide? Does it seem like you have a kind of a overwhelming job sometimes? Yeah. Because there's a lot to manage. There's a lot to manage. And if the more tools you have and the more things you have in a plan that you can pull from, will allow you to react to the chorus. I'm going to go on a little riff here for a second, because when you react to people's emotions, it gets emotional, right? And you have to carry that for the chorus. So people come to chorus and they all come for different reasons, but you're standing up there as a different face from your director, and you usually the fun face, because you're the one that is, let's talk about how to be fun and make something jazzy happen, right? Or meaningful. So there's a responsibility to understand where the chorus is and respond to that place, right? So if they're really, really fragmented on a night, you've got to have some plans for how to get them back focused. And if they're really low energy, then you need a quick energizing something to pull out of your hat. So understand that the more little tools you have and the more little tips and tricks you think of that say, okay, we're going to do this when they're low energy. For instance, low energy, stop and have them stretch. Have them just do a forward fold or a bend over and hug, and let that blood run back up to their head, and then slowly, come back up. Take some deep breaths, and just have them kind of get the blood moving again. Sometimes that's all it takes, is feel your feet, bend over to whatever's comfortable, and then just bring it back up and breathe. And if you need to do it twice, do it twice. But that's just one thing that will get energy back in to the chorus. Of course, the rubbing each other on the back, those kinds of things also. But don't be afraid to kind of stop midstream and tend to the chorus mood, because you're working with the chorus mood and you're trying to get a certain mood to come out to the audience. And you're trying to get them to connect. And it's exhausting for some people to connect, right? Not everybody feels real good at it. Some people are very threatened by it. They're like, I just want to stand here and sing. I've been doing this a long time and I just want to sing and move where you tell me to move, when you tell me to move there. And that part is kind of going away. So we have to be graceful with those that are maybe a little intimidated by that. I will go on. We have about 10 more minutes. Okay. Now, the mindset part of this, we just talked a lot about the knowledge of how to use the score sheets and how often to refer to them, and then how to take that over and overlay it onto the category descriptors and the elements of visual communication. So this is a reminder to own the persona, take the time to own your new reality and celebrate it. So often we read score sheets for why we didn't get a certain score. And we need to just say, let's live in the happy stuff first, and feel good about our performance. Remember the performance and how we felt when we came off stage, and embrace the accomplishments. Redefine yourself as, I did do that better than the last time, better than last year. And our chorus accomplished X, Y, or Z. like we had been trying to. And then go ahead and acknowledge your missed goals. Like disappointment is not a dead end. It's just a moment in time where you say, okay, I got to reach for the next rung on the ladder, and define why it didn't work. Maybe there's too much time spent on something else and you really kind of did ignore this one element. And so that's why you got some try harder type of comments. Move forward with a new perspective, and pivot towards your new work. The faster you can change and accept the situation you're in, and this is what I tell all my kids and everybody who listens to me. The faster you can accept the situation you're in, whether it's good or bad, and you can pivot from that into the next thing you need to do, often it's around disappointment, then the more time you're going to have to get better, the more time you'll have in positivity again. So as much as if you've ever had a disappointment that you really just wanted to hang on to, because the disappointment was so much that it's not a shrug your shoulders, well, whatever kind of moment. It's more of I'm going to need a couple days to like get over this. And I'm just talking about life in general, as well as our musical lives. If you can have that little voice in the back of your head that says, you know what, the faster you get to pivoting, the longer you'll be happy again. The sooner you'll be happy again, and the longer you'll stay happy. So really try to talk to yourself hard and fast, and then focus on the pivot. Focus on what needs to propel forward. And I think some people have a really good mindset about that. And I think leaders can have a really good mindset about that. What we don't understand is that everybody else in our chorus doesn't think like us, or they'd be doing what we're doing. So we have to come up with that kind of encouragement to those people that we see are still kind of living in the yeah, but world or room, right? So that's my most sage advice for the night, I think. Let me check and see if I said everything I did there. Sorry. So sorry. Now it's time for question and answer. I do have less than sage advice, just a final thought. That with competition and placements and all that important stuff and expectations of how people will personally feel about their performance and how as a group we feel about our performance, we really can't let that desire for all those little rungs on the ladder to be met to get in the way of us being authentic while we're performing. There's so much desire, and we work so hard for a short little competition moment. It is wonderful that we have shows, because then we've got a little more relaxation and we've got a little more time to have with the audience, right? But you really want to be able to, when you're performing, live in the moment, right? You want to live in the moment of the song, the story you're telling, the connection you're making. So you need to be able to take your desire and put the checklist, work on the checklist all year long, and then burn it in your mind on performance day, right? And trust muscle memory. Trust that you are who you are right now, and that you've worked up to who you are for a good long time. and that you are going to be enough on that stage. And you want the message to get across, and you want to be excited about that message rather than, I've got to give good face because my visual communication person says my eyebrows never are up enough, or I've got to, it's okay. And one piece of advice you can give to people is, it's okay to stand in left brain, or is it right brain? I don't even know. The analytical one. It's okay to be analytical in the left brain for moments in the song that require it, right? So, oh, yeah, that's a really high note. So I'm going to actually think about doing the exact right thing. And then I'm going to move on. Because if you don't give yourself permission to, perform perfection in a couple spots in the song, you're going to worry about it the whole time. So give your singers permission to plan one or two thoughts that have to come in to execute, but then it's like meditation, right? A thought goes by and then it goes and it's gone. And you're back to being a free thinking person. So do you have any questions about this kind of communicating to your chorus what the expectations of that big booklet and that chapter on visual communication lays out?
I just need to go and study it because I mean, I know we were given our score sheets, but at that time I wasn't in this position. And so now I'm like, oh, thank you for giving me these things that I need to go back and look at and read and absorb so I can take the knowledge that I've learned here back to the chorus and let's improve for next year's competition because we're going to sing the same songs we did this year so that we can maybe keep moving up.
Yeah.
So yeah, so far I'm so very excited that I joined in
Good,
today.
good. I'm glad. Yay. Yeah, that's it's important to feel confident in your knowledge as a leader, and reading and studying that visual communication section of the judging book will boost your knowledge. You don't have to know how you're going to get it, because there will be other people that will help you do that. Or you'll know that you need to get coaching in a certain area, or you'll know that you need to try and figure out and study, how do I get this thing out of my group, right? And we're going to study some of that this weekend, but we don't have forever. So it's that what is expected, and then you go from there, because it can be intimidating. Other questions on how to deal with chorus and communicating with them on all this?
No, I have a comment, not a question. That's okay. I was just going to say, one of the things that we have worked on is not knowing that you can't take every single thing that's on your score sheet and accomplish it from one season to the next. You need to focus on, it's easier to focus on those higher level things that you know that your members can accomplish and that you can actually achieve, and let the rest of them go and realize we'll get there someday, but I can't do everything that's on this list, and being okay with that.
Yes. And the more you own what you did well, and the more you say, we have that knocked out of the park, the more you can then be okay with not doing the whole recipe. Just find the next foundational thing that blends with what your director wants to do, and they can work together, those concepts. And like, singing correctly has a lot to do with posture, and that's a visual thing too. So those two things can go hand in hand, and you can enhance your director's goals through visual communication.
Yeah, and knowing what your members' strengths are too. right? And that can be a challenge sometimes, but there are, I think in general, those of us that have been around our members, for you being there a year, it might be not, it might take you longer to know who you know your singers, understand that, but eventually you'll know, okay, that's a strength of this person, or that in general, this is a strength of the chorus, and this is something that we can expand upon and continue to grow.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And knowing your chorus vibe, knowing your chorus persona, just when you go out and sing, stand out as the visual leader a lot and watch your chorus members sing their favorite song, no matter what that favorite song is. And it's not the contest music, unfortunately. But watch them as they sing the stuff they really love and say, "Oh, I really like that. Look at their stance. Look at their faces. Look at how relaxed they are in telling the story. They're not thinking and all mental." So then you'll know what you can infuse into the contest stuff, because they're already doing it on another song. Other things? Comments? I've got one more slide to show you, and it's a little bit about the future here, what we'll be doing coming up. Share screen. So moving forward, these are some of the questions I wanted to answer in this weekend. If you have questions that you want to get answered, throw them in the chat and I'll build it in to what we're doing going forward. But really, how do we build consistency of the product every single time? How do we make it so the same thing happens all the time? How do we create audience connection from all the members of the chorus? There's some that really, really, really connect and some that aren't. And how do we get more of an even balance of connection from everyone? How do we get the chorus to become more free while staying unified? Because, that's, since we're not giving choreography so much in the box anymore, there are some times when in the box choreography is very important because it supports the song, right? You want precision, you want a precise visual because it adds excitement to what you're singing. There are other times when that just looks like you're making stuff up to make it easy on your chorus. And then how do we create buy-in for the necessary work with both your members and your director? How do we work together? How do we create together? So those will be the questions that I'm going to focus on over the next 3 classes, 1 more tonight and 2 tomorrow. Are there other thoughts you have of, oh yeah, that's a burning issue and I'd love to be sure we touch on that? Yes, Stephanie.
You kind of touched on it, but that whole unity, but yet we're freeing things up is overwhelming to me. It's so hard. It's hard to get people to buy into being free. And then it's hard to know as the visual director how to unify that. So I'm excited to learn about that.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, it starts with stance and lower body. So I taught a package either last year or the year before to the chorus where I didn't let them do any moves. It was like, no, you're just going to use your lower body and you're going to stay fluid and liquid, and you're going to get to know your thighs and the bottoms of your feet. And we did that for a long time, but that is the foundation of a lot of unity, because then everybody's at least grounded and they're all kind of floating, I would say, in the same way, because they've all been working on the power of their lower body. And
I like that.
until you have power in your lower body, your arms are going to get over energized. If you're standing stick still with your feet not moving, your arms are going to overcompensate. And then it's going to look not authentic, and it's going to create tension. And we don't want that. So that's my last 10 seconds of thought.
That as a handy resource as well. Oops.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Not sure we need to be recording. Who's recording now? Oh.
I got kicked out of my section leader meeting.
Oh yeah, we're all.
I did that. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's all right.
I'm joking.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully, everybody got a chance to wrap up. So, Katy, were you able to finish up? Okay.
Yep.
And Paula, you were able to finish up.
Yes, we did.
Good, good. We're just gonna take, just a really short break because we're gonna make up for our little overlap. So, we'll start back up at 7:35 Pacific time. So 4 minutes. You're gonna run out, come back, and we'll go back to our breakout rooms, and I'll be good to go. Drew, did you want me to send you into your breakout room now? Let me see if I can do that. Oh, I might have to, hold on.
Trying to figure out how.
I'll just send everybody back. If you don't want to be there, you want to go to a different one, just let me know. But I'm gonna send you all back, but you can still just take a break don't start until 8:35-ish. Okay.
7:35 Pacific, LOL.
Oh, 7, sorry. I keep saying that because I'm looking at my clock, not yours. Okay. Section leader.
Can I ask something real quick?
There we go.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend tomorrow at all, which is so sorry. It was unavoidable. But do you know where I'll be able to go to pick up the recordings of it? Because I will definitely be watching all of them.
We can ask Shelley how the recordings will be distributed.
Okay.
Because I don't know if they'll be emailed or if they'll most likely be posted somewhere on the regional website.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
So,
well, just know I'll be watching them.
Okay, good.
Vote because I have a show tomorrow and call is at noon, and I have to be there totally with all my makeup on and ready to go at noon. So I'll probably
Full at noon.
But unfortunately, I won't be able to attend either.
Okay, well, good. And I'll also,
drive.
I'm happy to share these slide decks, you know, if that's helpful, because some of that.
You muted yourself.
I'm muted. I don't like to be muted. Okay, I'm going to go play with my PowerPoint because I think I lost my page. So I'm going to focus on.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi.
You're muted again, Katy.
I swear. Okay. Well, let's get started. We've got some new folks, so that's always awesome. And let's hear from Cindy and Maureen. Could you please tell us quickly who you sing with and what your responsibilities are with that group?
I'm with the
I'm
Chorus
Cindy.
Lady.
Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, Cindy. You go first.
I'm with Five Valley Chorus in Missoula, and I'm the only one attending these. So I thought I would pop into various ones. We have a wonderful visual team, but I'm really curious about maybe the different levels of involvement that you you know think the visual people should be involved in and the subtleties of it. So that's what I'm doing. It's just kind of
Okay.
observing.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And Maureen.
I'm the team leader.
Okay. Perfect. Hey, Maureen. Oh, go ahead and push unmute. You just did what I did. There.
There we go. Okay. I'm with the Coeur d'Alene Chorus, and I'm a relatively new member, so I'm really interested in learning how to enhance my visual presentation because I have only been a part of choirs before that didn't emphasize that. So I'm in learning mode.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And hi, Cheryl. Cheryl's here and she's observing. Do you want to tell us who you're with? And
hi, I'm in the background. I'm Cheryl from Spirit of Spokane Chorus. And I'm not on a visual team, but I have to be on the stage tomorrow with Carrie. And so tomorrow, if I come as a custodian, you'll understand.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share. I won't be able to see you because my computer is not a double screen. Sorry about that. I will stop though, because this is the one where we're doing a few activities. Okay, so question first. I can now see you. Is there a big gray block on the screen?
We can see your presentation.
And
You
we
can?
can see, you're fine. You're good.
Good.
Okay, good. Then I can see a couple of you. So we've talked about studying the visual communication category, and where to find that information and how to really absorb that, and hope to get it across to your members a bit. But now we're going to get into just building the character and story of songs and some activities you can do in order to support that. Because not only is there a visual component of what do I do with my body, but you also have to think, what do I do with my mind and my heart? And how do I connect those two to connect with the audience? Right, so something has gone wrong. There we go. We're going to look at how we build consistency of the product every single time, and how do we create audience connection from all the members. The other two are things we're going to do tomorrow. So you'll just have to watch the replay if you're unable to attend. Again, we're going into mindset and knowledge, and we're combining the two because you really can't do one without the other successfully. Your knowledge needs to be supported by the mindset of what you actually want to accomplish. Your job as a leader is to keep the chorus moving forward with their self-image into more authenticity, more of being an authentic performer. And it's not just earned by hearing from the outside that you're accomplishing it, like good score sheets, a coach that's complimentary, people that come into your audiences and tell you you're great. You also need, your performers each need to know in their own heart that they've learned skills that they can rely on and use every time they perform. And that will become consistent then. That kind of, oh, well, I've been told I've got a great face. Oh, okay. Well, but how do you actually do that every single time? So that's what your job as a visual leader is to get people able to go ahead and, really perform it consistently, because then you'll have a more unified chorus. There are a few workshop ideas that we can look into, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to get a little granular with our skills. And one of them is characterization games. You can stop a rehearsal if you work closely with your director and take 5 or 10 minutes to do a small exercise, like any kind of movement game or storytelling game, to just ask your chorus members and to train them to be more physical with their bodies, engage their mind into the story. And I'm sure that people have all sorts of different ideas from different places of things that they can do. And we'll share those at the end of this period. But first, let's try one. Let's have a volunteer, and I need to stop share so I can totally see everybody. I would want 2 people at least who would like to sing a simple song like Somewhere Over the Rainbow or Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Somebody's got to raise their hand. 2 people have to raise their hand. Christy?
I raised my hand.
Awesome. Christy's 1. And Susie. Awesome. Thank you.
Go for it.
So, Christy, you raised your hand first. Would you rather sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow or Row, Row, Row Your Boat?
It doesn't matter to me. Row your boat's fine.
Okay. Great. So we're going to sing this little bit. You're going to sing this little bit from two perspectives.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to have two characters with two different backstories, and we are going to be able to see the difference in your intention behind the words. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Okay. The first one is you are on a weekend camping reunion with all your oldest, bestest, most trusted buddies, and you cannot wait to arrive, get to your campsite, and start that fire and start chatting and telling good old stories. You're just really, really excited about the reminiscing you're going to get to do.
Okay. How many times do you want me to sing it? Doesn't matter. You just stop me, just one. Okay. Great.
And we're
This
both
one.
singing together, right?
Susie, we're going to make you sing the other song. So you're going to watch Christy do this, and then you'll do it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. There you go.
Good. You saw the eyes, you saw the face, you saw the rhythmic bounce, right? Because it was all very, very positive and very, very happy. Now we're going to throw a different story behind row, row, row your boat. You are a sneaky robber and you plan to steal something from a group that you saw camping on the riverbank.
Okay. I can be
So you're telling us the story that you want to steal something from somebody else and you got to sneak up on them.
Okay. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Good job, Chrissy. See how a backstory can change a song and can change interpretation and can change somebody's body posture, their face, the choices you make with moves. So it all starts with the story, and the story drives not only the physical part, but the singing musical part as well, right? And it's kind of fun to take a story and apply it to a song that maybe is a little unexpected. So Susie, are you ready? It's your turn.
Oh, I have the hard song. Ah.
Yeah, you do. Okay, so you're gonna sing. You're just somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. There's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Boom. That's all you need to do. Just to the lullaby.
Okay.
And here's your first story. You are a young person who has hopes and dreams for the future that she's only really heard about, but hasn't yet lived because she's young. So it's a lot like what we saw in the original movie, right? Wizard of Oz. So let's see what you do to create that youthful, unknowing, hopeful story.
Okay. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
She had a lot of, internal like, oh, and she looked up, and she had a lot of movement in her head and kind of the, I don't know, that's kind of what you do when you say, I don't know. She was doing a lot of that. So good job, Susie. Now you're going to change characters and backstories.
Okay. I had to uncover an ear. I was like, oh, I can't hear myself.
Can't hear myself. This time you're going to switch it and you're going to be a much, much older person who has lived all kinds of experiences in life, good or bad. And they really see the rainbow already, but they see it as kind of the end of their life. It's out there. I know it's coming. And I want to see, I'm talking about the things that have gotten me this far in life. And the rainbow represents something completely different.
Okay. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby.
That was wonderful. You took a minute and got composed, right? And that's a good thing. Oftentimes we can do that between songs. You know, we can take that minute to reset the mood. And so you got composed. You did a lot more knowing looks and head shakes like, yeah, I know how that went, instead of, I don't know what's going to happen, right? And so what you want to do when you do, if you do this with other human beings, you want to point out stuff like I just did, where you said your youthfulness was showing through when you did this, this, and this, right? These were the kinds of things, and your experience and other kind of position in life was shown in another way. So just whenever you bring those backstories in, be ready to note what somebody chose to do, because that's direct feedback for them that they can then hang on to, right? And say, oh yeah, it really is okay if my eyes get really big in that moment, right? Or if I get really evil looking because I'm just about to steal something from somebody, right?
Yeah.
So is there feedback on either one of these of something you noticed? Anybody else?
I noticed that she was very, there was a reflection there of the past. Does that make sense? Like I could tell in her facial expressions that she was portraying the character you asked her to, because there was this look of thinking back to the past of her whole life that she had already been through.
Yeah. And so then that's good feedback for Susie to say, okay, reflective. That's probably a word I want to remember and use when I'm trying to give my chorus a sense of being reminiscent or looking back into the past. That's the other thing that you as a leader could note is, what are the words that are going to propel the right response in an entire chorus of women, right? If you go into super specific stuff, then you lose some of the people who haven't, who maybe, you know, think of your kid. Well, they don't all have kids. Think of a marriage. Well, I haven't all been married, you know. So you want to stay a little more global about what's the story about. And you don't really have to describe the person, you have to describe what they're going through. Because audiences react to what a story, what the theme of the story is going through, whatever character, whatever they're going through. It's not even like before the parade passes by, it's not, wow, I want to be that really excited, rhythmic, cute, dancy woman up there getting ready for a parade. What they really want to be is excited about the joy of the music and the movement and the rhythm and the unexpected stuff that's going to happen in the parade. And, you know, it's all the stuff under the water rather than on top of the water that audiences are going to hook into. Because just like any picture you see in an art museum, especially if it's kind of abstract, you see something completely different because it talks to you in a different way. So we need to be talking from the heart, not from the eyes. The eyes will tell us the setting, and we'll go into that in stagecraft tomorrow, but the eyes will tell us the setting and kind of what time and place we're in. But we want to know why we care. Why am I going to listen? And it's because of the driving emotion of the character you're creating. So always try, instead of saying, look down like you're trying to remember something, say, be reflective, and that will get a more honest response from each of your members, because that means something different to everybody, but it's still in the same kind of box, right? Reflective is reflective. And we didn't know what Susie had going on in her life as she was playing that character. She didn't have that much time to write a script about it either. So just that's really kind of an important distinction when you're telling your people how to move and why to move and how to look. You want the emotions and the thought processes more than you want the head position and how big your eyes should be and all of that. You'll get a more honest answer. Yes, Stephanie.
The other thing is, and this isn't as visual, but although she sang the same exact notes, the tone and color of her voice was totally different. And I feel like when I can get my chorus to buy into a song, all of a sudden it marries all that up and makes my director very happy.
Yes. Yes. Your sound, music, and expression scores all go up when you change the color and tone.
Yeah,
So
well,
we're
and
we're
Christy did
important.
that too. Yeah. Well, Christy did that too, when she was supposed to be sneaky. You're quiet. You don't go in, row, row, row your boat. Row, row,
Yep.
row your boat. So yeah, voice level and expression.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's look at some more activities. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Do an activity, an exercise where you tell a story in a circle where each person adds a line to the story from a prompting sentence. And like one day I was walking down the street and the raccoon I saw, and then the next person picks up and gets to say one sentence, and you go around in a circle, and it does a couple of things. It relaxes people because it's silly. And there's no judgment because it's right in the moment and it's supposed to be silly. And sometimes people will do an outlandish sentence and then somebody will come along and say one word in a really dry, deadpan way, and it'll be hilarious. So it's unexpected. You never know. It's easy. It's fast. And you can just take a break and again keep people's brains moving over to both sides of the hemispheres here and getting their excitement level back up and actually having a purpose. Like, I need to think on my feet. The purpose of that is to think on your feet and to think openly about and focus on what the story actually is. Because when you go around in a circle, you have to listen to what the next person says and then where that's been and where it's going so that you can participate in a sort of halfway relevant way. And so it gets your focus back down in on what's going on with everything in my song and in my story. And it's a habit that people can build for focusing. And part of that, and then the other one before I expound on that is play the excuses game. Give everybody a character like, okay, we're all teenagers, we're guilty teenagers, and the prompter says, why is the car on the lawn? And then each person gets one response that builds on the next. So that's another kind of funny one too. And it's really easy for your team, your visual team, or any member of the chorus to jump in and be the prompter, be the leader of that. And it will give people some ownership over the process, and it will perk people's ears up like, oh, we haven't heard her talk before. What's she going to say? You know, that kind of fun. And again, it's very short. It's just one time around. And what you're wanting to do is to get to the point where you can then layer on top of that game a habit of saying, think about what the last sentence was and think about what the next sentence is. Think about where you're going from one to the next. It's a lot harder than any of us think it is, right? It gets to the point of, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I do want to say this. So we're going to skip that game and just do one thing. Lyrics. Knowing what the lyrics are and knowing what the important lyrics are, but is it only one important lyric? So Stephanie, could you say a sentence for me? This is part of a song. I lost it all. I lost everything. It's I lost it all. I lost everything. You know that, I don't know if you know that song or not, but just that sentence, if you can say, I lost it all, I lost everything, with everything, put a lot of emphasis into the word everything for us.
I lost it all. I lost everything.
Now, take your everything that you did and start the sentence with that attitude.
But say the same words in the same order. Okay. I lost it all. I lost everything.
Did you see how that changed what she did? And did it feel kind of hard and weird?
To me, yes.
Yeah. It feels very hard and weird to do that. But did you see what she did? Does anybody have a feedback on what you saw change?
The angst in her voice was different for the whole phrase instead of just on the everything.
Mm-hmm. And her face dropped.
And her face dropped, yeah.
Into that everything facial expression. And that's not something that you have to tell somebody to do then. You know, if I were to say, you know, Stephanie, I really want everybody to know at the beginning of the sentence that this means a lot to you because it's everything. So you need to really kind of almost scowl and look like you really lost everything. Why would I go through all those words of instruction when I can say, take the word everything, which just happened to be the last word in this sentence. It doesn't have to be the last, you know, important words come in different places, but use that important word to start the thought. And you'll get more authenticity throughout the entire line. Maureen, do you want to try a sentence?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. Now I got to think of another one. I didn't have that written down. Let's see. When the moon is high in the afternoon sky, how's the rest of that go? When the moon is high in the afternoon sky, and do you know how the rest of that goes? Da-da-da, something to do. Okay. That's not a good one then. I'm thinking of really trite ones. Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Try that one. So
Yes.
summertime and the living is easy. And maybe easy is the thing that's the most important word. So go ahead and say summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high, with easy being the important word.
Sorry, run that by again.
Yeah, it's the summertime and the living is easy. And then fish are, and you can just go to fish are jumping. Fish are jumping.
Summertime and the living is easy. The fish are jumping.
Good. So you really put in easy. Now start with that easy feeling and use it on summertime and through the whole sentence. So think to yourself, what's easy? And then start there.
Summertime and the living is easy. The fish are jumping.
Yes. Yes.
I
love
changed
it.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Really good. Really good. What did people see?
The joy.
Carrie, what did you see?
Facial expression changed, and you could see she looked relaxed.
Christy?
The joy of the fact that living was easy and how easy that was translated into the whole phrase, how much joy there was behind it, and her facial expressions being lifted.
Stephanie?
That second time, it looked like she was literally living in that moment of summertime, not just reflecting on it.
Yeah. And people take a different breath. I noticed both Maureen and Stephanie took in their breath differently when they were starting with the important word in mind. It was more in character. So this is a Judy Posgay technique. And it really is not easy to do, especially when you're moving through a song, right? And singing notes. But if you can capture, and maybe you start by saying the intro of this song has an important word, and we're just going to think of that word through the whole intro, right? So make it a bigger chunk of music, and say, all right, this is the important word, or this, and that word, like easy, we're going to sing the whole intro because life is easy in a way that reflects how wonderful it is to feel easy. Maybe it's relaxed, maybe it's satisfied. Come up with the word and tell your chorus to sing that emotion or that feeling through the entire chunk of song. And then if you want to, you can get, smaller and shorter and dissect this down even sentence by sentence. But at least if you can do it in big chunks of the song, and really have them start with the emotion in mind, you're going to have a lot more authenticity. I think it will kind of blow you away, actually, when you see your chorus try it. But you always want to first have them try it just in that one section first, like sing up to it and then make that really important. Because they need to get into the mindset of, okay, that's how I make that important. That's what I just did. And when you ask them to do that for 2 or 3 lines or 4 lines or an entire page, that's kind of blow their mind, maybe. So, but I think you'll like it. And then, of course, always have one half sing to the other half and show how great it is, right? Do that a lot because that's very self-affirming. So that's really a big one. a big helpful moment. Now there's another idea I've got. Let me go back to sharing. Journaling the story. I have this idea that I haven't implemented yet. And it's in line with this personalizing the storyline for each of your chorus members. Because again, when I first started, it was such a specific storyline, right? And setting. And I was supposed to, with the rest of the chorus members, be the same person. Now we've loosened that up and we've said, find a spot at the beginning of this song, like bandstand in Central Park. There's a bandstand, da, 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 da. Maybe it's not a bandstand you're looking at in Central Park. It's a reminiscent, wonderful spot that brings back the original great memory of your relationship. That could be on a ski boat at sunset at the end of a hard day of skiing and splashing around in the water. And you just happen to be doing it with the right person. So, but you could still sing There's a Bandstand. It's the mental part. It's what goes on up here that you want, and in here that you want your chorus members to relay, because again, that's what's below the surface. So journaling the story would be, you can read this, be specific with the story of your songs by asking each member to make a journal for what just happened before the song started, or something that's going to happen at the peak of the song, and have them relate to that and have them create a story arc about it. Oftentimes there's places you want the story to go for sure. So you want that in their mind. It's like, all right, I start out really reminiscent, and then something happens, and now I'm just making stuff up. That person actually is still there. They're not gone anymore. So there's this lovely surprise in the middle of my story. And so you want your chorus members to personalize that story, so when they remember it, you haven't told them what to think. They've built their own story, and have them rewrite it in their own words. Have them answer to themselves why it's important in their own journal. So, I thought I'd lost this person forever. I was reminiscing about how wonderful it was with them. And suddenly they came back. I didn't think they were going to come back for whatever reason. And now the world is opened up. So that's an example of one person's personal story. And then they put that in a setting that they want to put it into. They decide what part of the audience they're speaking to. Is that a joyful thing? Do I want to make my audience feel joy? Do I want them to feel proud of something that happened in this story? Kind of like, a marching song. You're going to have a completely different feeling you're going to want your audience to have than if it's a reminiscent, lost my love, now I know I didn't actually lose it after all kind of story. And if they journal, there's going to be a couple things that happen. They're going to be writing it in their own hand, which helps you retain. And they're going to be thinking through the entire song and connecting the A and the B and the A and the B, all the different sections together. And what that's going to help them do as a chorus, it's going to help them visualize. When you ask them How many people ask their choruses to visualize before they compete or perform? Go to bed, run through the song in your head, all that. Well, what if they visualize the story instead of what they've been told to do and what they should remember? Just visualize the story, visualize the setting, smell the air. And you can have them write down, is it night? What's the temperature? Is it misty out? Is it hot and dry? What does it smell like? Does it smell like really bad stuff, or is it really wonderful lavender fields? You know, all that detail you can prompt, and you don't need to tell the you don't need to tell them the story to write. You want to direct them in, so let's think about a direction of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue. And the dreams that you dream, something, something will come true. So you end up, and then you go into this dreamy spot. So you're almost describing the dream, right? So at the beginning, the somewhere is the hope, the out there-ness of something. It's not here and now. It's either in the past or it's in the future. But somewhere doesn't mean right here and now. So let your people determine where that somewhere is and what it is, because it's still mystical and unknown. It's like, oh man. And then the dreamy part, they can have their own dreams. And they're just using words as paintbrushes for those dreams. They literally don't have to think about the birds flying around that are so beautiful, because maybe they hate birds, right? And so they don't have to follow the literal words. They just have to attach their story to those words. So do you have a sense that asking people to journal would be kind of different? And would you need to do it at what part of your rehearsal? You can unmute and tell me. Yes, Tiffany.
I'm a little confused on the process of this. Would you be doing it on a song that a chorus is currently working on? And if that's the case, then how do you unify it if some people are, their storyline is frustrated versus others are joyful, or there's others are hopeful? Does that then become very ununified?
You do want the underlying, you want to be the one that sets the attitude.
Okay.
So like in Somewhere Over the Rainbow, most, the attitude is one of hope and something, the promise of the future, right? And so do you have a up tune that you're singing in chorus?
Did you say an up tune? We're singing, drawing a blank. When You Wish, but that's kind of more of a ballad.
When You Wish Upon a Star. Yeah. When you wish upon a star. Yeah. You can say, all right, when you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Any wish, anything that you desire, your dream can come true. So say, we're going to assume that dreams are positive in this song. All right. Nobody's going to have bad dreams. Nobody's going to have nightmares. And we're all going to get what we want, because we want the audience to feel like they're going to get what they want. You don't want to leave your audience in oh, you mean dreams aren't going to come true because you just sang it really ironically, that is a risk. So you always lead with how you want the audience to feel. And so as a visual leader, you could write out the story and you could say in the side marks kind of how you want the audience to feel in each spot, and then give that out to the chorus and say, here's where the story arc is, here's where we're going to go with it. And then you go ahead and write in your own thoughts about that. So rewrite the when you wish upon a star makes no difference who you are. Well, maybe for me, I don't wish upon a star. Maybe it's like when I really see a tall mountain to climb, it doesn't really matter if I think I can. That would sort of be a similaristic kind of way to say when you wish, it doesn't matter who you are. So people will rewrite the story in their own words and then be able to put pictures to that that will allow them to remember your directions in the margins. Like when you really want something and it doesn't really matter if you deserve it or not, it can still come true. That kind of thing. So a lot of times you might have a team that would help, or your director would help with the story arc and the lines. Yeah. So it's just something to try that I'm going to try with my chorus, because I haven't done it before. Are there any things that you have come up with your choruses that you feel are kind of an original idea or an idea you haven't heard in this workshop time? Do you have teams that help you come up with stuff, especially in the smaller size groups? Because I know in big groups you kind of do. Susie, do you have a team?
Well, with us, the directors, our directors are really pretty key on visualization and talking about let's tell the story, and then a couple of us do more of the movement sort of things. But there's only 17 in our 17 or 18 in our chorus,
Right.
so it's a small team. But I like that visualization, because there's one song that when I leave the world behind, where we know a millionaire who's burdened down with care, a load is on his mind, and everybody else, like one person's thinking this person's in a park sitting on a park bench, somebody else is, oh, he's in his living room telling his grandkids this story, but still conveying the same message, but the visualization for each member is slightly different. So I like that exercise. That'll be a good one to take back.
Because the feeling behind somebody who has it all and doesn't have a care in their mind can be one of just being a really satisfied person. So what does that mean? And that would be you saying, this is a sense of satisfaction, or it's, you come up with sort of the sideline comment of, what is a millionaire who doesn't have a care? Okay, what does that really mean? What is that person really feeling? Right? Again, you don't want to paint a literal picture. You want to paint the feeling of satisfaction.
Right.
Right? Because then how does the story go after that?
Burdened down with care, a load is on his mind. He's got a, oh shoot, it's hard when you're not singing it. A load is on his mind. He's thinking of the day when he must pass away and leave his wealth behind. So,
yeah.
And then he's like, I'm poor. I don't have anything, so I'm just gonna leave the sunshine to the trees.
Right. And so, yeah, this is kind of an advanced, thought process, because you are pulling people out of a consistent, everybody's thinking the same thing. and trusting that they're going to look the same, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'll say it in my last minute like I did the last time. It starts in the bottom half of your body, right? So when they're really working on telling a story, don't let them use their hands. Either sit them down in chairs or just tell them you got to put your hands in your back pockets and just use, and you'll start to see their body move and from the bottom up, from the feet up and the knees and the hips, because that's where energy comes from without tension. So there's a lot there, but hopefully as you sleep on it, it'll sink in and you can send me questions as they come up.
So if you need to step away.